What is that shit, Damon? How much is Zac Gallen paying you? What is going on here? Well, welcome into the FINKS D-backs Podcast once again. My name is Derek Montilla. Of course, I'm your mayor of FINKS, and I'm joined by an all-star panel here in an effort to replace Jesse Friedman once and for all. Very excited. Of course, this guy to my left, you know him, the one and only mayor of DNVR. It's Patrick Lyons.
Wow.
I upgraded you.
I appreciate that.
Everybody is a mayor today. Everybody is a mayor. Yeah.
I was just a comptroller, but it's good to know that the people enjoy what I'm doing, and now I'm the mayor.
You work your way up from one political position to the next. I'm also joined by our friend from the Reno Aces, the mayor of the Aces, the one and only Vince Ruffino.
Man, that is some high praise, guys.
I know.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank
I
you
can't
for
wait
being
to talk some D-backs baseball.
Hell yeah. You know these guys, especially the young ones that we're all excited to see very well. So I'm excited to get your thoughts, especially on Corbin Carroll. He's been getting a lot of praise, almost too much praise. I don't know if he can live up to this praise. But of course, down there on the end, our mayor of MLB. It's the one and only Danielle Cortez.
The undisputed ping pong champ of PHNX.
Ping pong champ? Yeah, she's not wrong.
Come at me, Max.
She's not wrong.
Come at me, Max.
Yeah. I don't.
Danielle, challenge is on.
Yeah.
I own a ping pong
There is
table.
no challenge.
This-
There is no challenge.
Yeah,
I owned a table as a kid.
We went to 28, but 0-2.
If I know Max at all as his former roommate, he probably cheated just a little
Yeah,
bit.
there we go. The truth comes out. The truth comes out. This is why we have these people on this show, just so that they can expose all the frauds around here. But that's right. Never trust the salesman. But of course, this show is brought to you by the fine folks at the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. I guess we're just officially the FINKS D-backs Podcast now. If for those of you that might not have joined us early this week, our very own Saul Bookman was on the show, and after hearing that Zac Gallen has been calling us FINKS around the locker room, Saul had some words on our show, and well, it resulted in some things. Can we get that clip?
Before I do go, I definitely want to say this. I did call Zac Gallen out for you, Jesse, when I saw him in the MVP lounge for calling you FINKS.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And Zac, I just want to let you know, if you ever say that again and you don't say sorry, I'm going to step on your Jordans. I'm just going to step on your Jordans.
Oh my God. I want to be there for
I think
it.
it's pretty funny that he says FINKS.
Yeah, and but he wants us to change it to Sphinx, and that's a whole other thing.
No.
That's
It's
where it fucking crosses
PHNX
the line.
Zac.
Yeah, Zach. Crosses the line, Zach. So, yeah, we yelled at him a little bit on Twitter about rebranding us, and he had this response, thus confirming the fact that we are now just FINKS. And I mean, it's kind of ironic that a guy that needs to buy a K for his first name wants to attack us for not having vowels in ours, you know?
And if you can't afford a K, which is understandable, it's a lot of points in Scrabble. How about an H?
Yeah,
It's a little more affordable.
Right.
A little
You're
bit
not.
more.
I mean, it makes it easier on me to not have to remember the spelling of like 4 different guys on the team that are all different variations of Zach. That's annoying.
Yeah, there was a
shit.
time where we had, what was it, three Zacs all
Yes,
spelled differently.
all
at
spelled
once?
differently.
Awful.
Yeah, all
Awful.
spelled
Nightmare.
differently. But we're not the only one losing to Zac Gallen, because Danielle actually had her experience of losing to Zac Gallen in Fortnite of all things. Is that right?
Yeah. I can't 100% confirm it was Zac Gallen, but so I was playing Fortnite. I'm terrible at Fortnite. I
if you're over 25, you're terrible.
play to have fun with my friends. I don't play to like get that Twitch advertisement money. No, so I'm playing, and it was one of those like battles where just nobody's hitting a shot. We're just kind of jumping around, hoping spraying around.
Yeah.
And then he got me, and it said eliminated by Z_Gallen 23. And it's like, there's no way that's anybody else.
So now
there's no way that's anybody else.
We need Zach to get in on this.
And I
tell
was going
us
to
if
ask
he
him a
sniped
photo
you.
day, but he was pretty over it. So
Yeah,
I didn't talk.
I
But
understand.
I lost to Zac Gallen.
What does the Z in his handle stand for Z Gallen? Zeus? I mean, could that be his new nickname?
Are we just giving him a new nickname?
I mean, if he's just Z Gallen, what does the Z stand for?
That's
Every
right.
time he calls
Us
you
Finks?
guys FINKS,
Yeah.
that's now one time you
Yeah.
get to
Yeah,
call him Zeus, although that's
yeah.
not much of an insult to call
No, that's an
someone
awesome
Zeus.
nickname, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Zebediah, something like that.
Yeah, I don't. What? Zappy.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. There we go. Zappy Gallen. Good luck with that pitch clock, I guess. But baseball is back today. It's official. Spring training is here. We had the Rangers. We actually have the Rangers versus the Royals happening right now, and the Mariners versus the Padres. So I guess my question to everybody is the excitement surrounding the season. I know Not you so much, but the rest of us are pretty excited about the season.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about Major League Baseball is even when you know, the best case scenario, according to your owner, is you play 500 baseball, you still have to play the game. So we still get a season, guys. So no, we're still exciting, and you know, the future is on its way, and it is in the Rockies clubhouse for spring training, but it's baseball season, and there's nothing more exciting. Even if your team's not in it, it's baseball. It's what we love.
And you got Coors Field. I mean,
yeah, no,
that goes a long way.
Place.
That goes a long way.
To
It's
watch.
a cathedral. Yeah, it's a cathedral as opposed to a shopping mall.
Yeah. Well, you guys have something in common when it comes to baseballs flying out of both of your stadiums, but one is a little bit more enjoyable for us than the other one, for sure. You know, what are you guys excited about when it comes to, especially seeing, like, I know part of your process is to kind of see these guys, you know, get that shot and go on to bigger things in the major leagues. But how exciting is it for you guys to have so many of these, you know, highly touted prospects coming through Reno, and now seeing some, you know, some of them come up. I mean, I know you always see that, but Corbin Carroll and some of the guys that are up now, Alec Thomas, you know, they're all very exciting to see at a major league level.
No, I mean, this has been a special time for Reno baseball. I mean, we won the PCL championship last year with a lot of this talent. We saw Corbin Carroll for a couple of months. What's exciting is seeing this young talent come up in the years past. In the last 3 or 4 years, this is going to be my 6th year in Reno. There wasn't that much talent. You know, we had Christian Walker who won the MVP in 2017. But other than that, I've been really impressed with the pitching that's been coming up. Brandon Pfaadt last year did things that I've never seen done in the PCL before. I mean, he was shutting teams down and going 7 innings, a 2-run ball in the PCL, where ERAs are normally above 4.5 and 5, and that's like considered good.
Sure.
So he's been really impressive in the young arms that have been coming up, coupled with the athleticism, man, of what the D-backs are compiling. You can tell they're really trying to find 5-star guys, right? A guy that can run, who can field, he can put the ball in play. It's almost like the Diamondbacks are thinking a little bit ahead of the game in terms of, you know, how they're building their team of the more of the contact guys. They're not so focused on power. You know, inside baseball, as the marketing and communications guy, we've been ordering jerseys for these guys for their specialty jerseys. And the jerseys have actually shrunk in size because the guys are smaller, more fit, faster than having the Walkers, the Yasmani Tomases, the big burly home run hitters. Yasmani Tomas might be a sore subject. I maybe shouldn't have brought that up.
A name that does not get uttered on this show.
I might need to backtrack that one real quick. We loved him in Reno. He was a great guy. But,
Absolutely.
He shouldn't have been there for the
we
contract
nicknamed
he
him
was
the
making.
king of Reno, in fact, because
Wow, that's good.
that's where he kind of lived and ran. You know, that was his court.
Fun story about Tomas. We were playing a game. It was like 20 degrees in April. He hit a home run, and he did the fastest sprint around the diamond I've ever seen, and ran right back to the heater. It was probably the fastest home run trot we had all year by Yasmani Tomas, because he wanted nothing to do with 25-degree Reno weather in the middle of April.
That's incredible.
And you know what? Same. I don't blame him.
no.
I didn't blame him at all. He
If
appreciated it.
you paid attention to me on Twitter, you know for sure I'm not a fan of that at all in any way, shape, or form.
We live in Arizona for a reason.
That's right. Damn it. That's right.
Exactly.
But speaking of the pitching arms, Dre Jamison and Ryan Nelson are actually getting the first 2 starts for the Diamondbacks tomorrow. They'll have a split squad game, so you guys get a chance to go out and see the Diamondbacks play baseball tomorrow. But one thing, obviously, that has come up between those 2 guys specifically is it feels like they're the front runners for the Diamondbacks' 5th spot in the rotation. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. And, you know, of course, the idea that young guys kind of do get held back in some cases by some of the pitching arms that have experience, even if the young arms are doing better, right? Or have a better ERA or performing better, right? So, but you have some experience with those 2 guys. What are your thoughts on both of them?
Yeah, for Dre, he had a really inconsistent year for us last year. There would be moments he really struggled getting out of the gate. First innings were a big problem for him, and they tried different routines in Reno to try to get him up to speed and get him up to what he was trying to achieve. But he really struggled to get out of those first and second innings. And then he would find a groove in the middle innings, you know, 3 through 4, and then 5 or 6, he'd wear down again. Ryan, on the other hand, would come out really strong. And I feel like Ryan was more of a complete pitcher. He has a little bit more deception in his windup. Dre Jamison has more of a straight fastball. Ryan has some good movement and really good deception. He hides that ball really well, and it comes at you faster than you expect. Then we see Dre get called up last year, which was honestly a surprise to a lot of us in Reno just watching the team. We didn't expect him to make that leap.
Sure. And neither one of them had great stats either. You know, and of course, like you said, a lot of that is due to playing in Reno and
not
just kind of
as much movement.
That.
At that altitude, the movement comes down and the ball flies. And we had times where the ball's going out to right field. You get the ball elevated, it gets into the jet stream, and it's gone. But for Dre, he's a talented guy, a driven guy. He's really a great personality. If you guys have been around him at all,
yeah, oh god, yes.
I think fans
God,
here
yes.
will really find him an interesting cat.
We had a great conversation with him about taking the number 99, and we were like, you know what that means, right? And he goes, oh yeah, I know what that means. And he's an extremely competitive guy,
He
right?
is.
So like he kind of welcomes the challenge of accepting like a number like that as ridiculous as it is. A jersey number can kind of be like, are you ready to live up those expectations? 99, like that's a lot, you know. But anyway, the one thing that we saw today was picture day, which Danielle can say she was out there for. And we got to see this little image of the D-backs redesigned Avnet advertising patch on their jersey. Guys, we did it. We bullied the Diamondbacks into changing it. We did a thing. Yeah, see? You can joyfully attack an organization until they change things. I'm just kidding. I don't think that they, of course, changed it at all because of us. But as we know, as you may remember, the previous patch destroyed our own known universe, as we tweeted out. Did we bully them into changing the patch? And what do you guys think of the new patch?
They did it in spite of you guys.
You think so?
Yeah. No, this is just like so new that I just, a lot of people have just not really wrapped their heads around how to do this the best possible way.
Sure.
And D-backs and Avnet, obviously, they probably went back to the drawing board and said, well, what if we did make a tweak? It doesn't mean we failed in any way. They go with this. I know a lot of people on social media have said, actually, this is probably the best patch. And I would say now it's probably up there with what the Angels have.
Yeah.
Their brand partner has the same colors as them with a little bit of green because it's a tree. It's some kind of like material company for construction.
Well, and
so
we knew that
pops,
with the
looks
Avnet.
good.
The Avnet has the teal and the
Avnet
A, and like we knew that
great.
it was going to go together,
flows.
but
It's one of the better ones.
Without some sort of outline or background, obviously, it would just flow too well. Like it would literally look like a team patch. It's an A, so it's like someone might just think like, oh, it's some sort of Arizona Diamondbacks logo, right? They have to set it. They have to make it stand out in some way. But thoughts on advertising on jerseys in general? I know we're moving in that direction, and I feel like even though we made a big deal out of this patch, and I feel like every team is going to make some sort of stink in a way about a patch being on their jerseys. We moved into this in basketball so kind of effortlessly without it really impacting the game or being a big deal. I mean, is this something that you guys expect to see like very quickly on every team's jersey?
I would say so. I mean, as long as it stays on the sleeve, right?
Yeah.
I
Once
think
it starts crossing over,
once it starts
front,
right, you're looking like the Mexican Winter League teams, right? It's just all over everywhere.
Trust me, my high school team in Puerto Rico had advertisements on the jersey, right? Where our names would go, just said Squeeze a Fruit. That's where your last name was on the back of the jersey. So
as long as it stays on the sleeve, I'm cool with it. Like, you look at the NBA, it's just a tiny little thing on the shoulder. Like, it works. You can ignore it if you want. I mean,
even have people when it comes to the Suns jerseys that want the official one with the PayPal patch on it.
They cost
right?
like $50 more than the ones without it.
Can you imagine someone paying to have an advertisement on them?
They're always like, well, that's not legitimate. They don't have the PayPal patch on it.
This is the guy with the Adidas logo
right,
on his shirt right there.
Well,
I mean, we all do it. We already do it.
We all do it.
The kids coming up in this generation are going to look and say, well, that's what the players are wearing. I need the Avnet on mine. And that's part of the price that Avnet is paying to have this. So I think it makes a lot of sense for why they're doing that. We're going to forget about it. We're not even going to know it's there. I was talking with some of the Rockies people about it, and they have just the Rockies logo on one of their sleeves, and that will probably have to come off. Because think about it, you got anniversary, so the 25th anniversary Diamondbacks patch.
Sure.
If God forbid somebody passes away or there's some kind of memorial, these sleeves are going to start getting really heavy.
Yeah.
Like, where does the USA
and
patch go? Does that go above Avnet? Does that have to go below?
Right.
It could get a little complicated for the most part, but you're not even going to notice that it's there. There's so many new things happening in baseball.
Yeah.
And yet, by mid-season, you'll ask people, and they couldn't tell you one thing of how it was different between this year and 10 years ago.
That's a very true point. Well, I don't have Espo's tinfoil hat to put on right now, but one of our friends from Twitter, Gabriel, had a bit of a conspiracy theory when it came to the patch. And can we put that tweet up? Gabriel said, Gabe's Conspiracy Corner, which might be a new segment on this show soon. They purposely made the original design so big and ugly so that we would accept the new sponsor patch without backlash. I don't entirely believe that. I think it's a good theory, and someone else kind of said it too, right? Like, I get it. Like, you make it make it really bad. But my thought is someone still needed to sew those on all of the spring training in, camp jerseys. And that person has every right to be furious at the fact if they did it that way. Like, really? You just playing games with me and my time and my work now?
Listen, I don't necessarily believe it, but I don't necessarily
Disbelieve
don't
it?
believe it.
Yeah.
Like it
Right, might have
sounds possible.
Yeah, it's
Like-
possible, definitely.
I would rather take credit for it.
Yeah.
I don't thought we bullied them.
Yeah, okay. We're doing that.
I
We
would
bullied them.
rather
We
take
bullied
credit
them
for
into
it than
That's
we
what we're
bullied
I
them
may
into
or
it.
may not have some inside information that you guys definitely bullied them into it.
All right, there we go. There we go. We got that. Confirmed. Well, the one thing we know about the patches, much like the new rules, they're not going away. So, again, in the words of Macho Man Randy Savage, you may not like it, but you will accept it. But again, thank you guys for being here today in the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel. Sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss whenever we go live or any of the wonderful shows on this network go live. Also, leave us a thumbs up because Jesse really likes that. And so since he's not here, I want him to get jealous that this show got more thumbs up than any other show that he was on. But also, if you haven't done so already, grab yourself a PHNX diehard membership over at gophnx.com. Of course, that way you don't miss any of Jesse's wonderful articles or any of the articles from our writers around here. We also have wonderful benefits like a free t-shirt from the phnxlocker.com or a free hat. Every single year you're a member, you also get 20% off all future purchases. You get members-only discounts with our partners. You get members-only merchandise, members-only access to our Discord lounge, and so much more. So make sure to grab that membership over at gophnx.com and become part of the family. Right?
The diehard Discord really pops off for the Diamondbacks.
It really does. We have a lot of fun in it.
Diamondbacks fans are really hyped. And that's how I know. I jump in there because
Yeah.
I get access. I sneak in once in a while.
Yeah, just come in and kind of lurk.
And I'm like, oh man, everyone is hyped right now. Y'all
We
should
are
be.
excited.
You should be hyped.
Yeah, and I think the thing about it is, like Ken Kendrick said earlier this week, this team only has a few routes to success, and the main route is through prospects, whether that's trading them away for high quality players or turning them into high quality players. We have seen this coaching staff absolutely be able to do that with everybody. Like you said, I think we were a bit shocked by Dre Jameson's performance when he came up and how good he was at a major league level. Same thing with Ryan Nelson. It was amazing how quickly these guys acclimated to the major league.
Well, I thought what was impressive about Dre was he came up and kind of had a bump in the major leagues. He was sitting around 96, 97 when he came up to you guys. He was only at about 94, 93 for us.
Yeah, we didn't understand that either. We were like, what the hell happened?
He jumped way the heck up
Yeah.
when he was with the Diamondbacks, and he started to be more effective at that speed because he's got a more of a straight fastball than other guys. There's not as much movement on it. I know he's played around with a cutter, and he says he has 5 or 6 pitches, but they're all shaped kind of similarly in terms of how they come out of his hand and the delivery that he has. But that uptick in velocity really made a big difference for him last year at the major league level, and he found some success. So if he has that this spring, there's a good chance he's going to make this team against a Ryan Nelson who sits a little bit lower, but like I mentioned before, really does a nice job of hiding that ball behind his ear. And he's got that short arm release, so it really jumps out on you, and he's got a longer leg span, so he can get closer to the plate when he's making those pitches.
It's just exciting because for a while there, like you said, a few years ago, the outlook was bleak when it came to the prospects. So for this, core to be coming together and like to get to the point where we're questioning, like, why are you automatically giving rotation positions to anybody besides maybe Zac Gallen and Merrill Kelly, when you have so many talented pitchers in the organization? I mean, and obviously we know a lot of it. The business plays into it, incumbency plays into it, but we know that, what we want to see and what they want to see at the end of the day is this team be successful, and I don't think it's a rush so much to see the young guys as much as it's just like, we want the best options out there. So we don't want you to immediately discount using these guys just because someone like Madison Bumgarner has done the things that he's done historically in the league, right? But
when's the last time we were excited about pitching?
Not very long ago. Not very much. Like, I mean, maybe
it's been
Brandon Webb era, right?
Brandon Webb and Dan Herron, like that.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
that's
Zach
probably
Greinke,
Zach Greinke, but who was the 2 starter in that, right?
Robbie Ray.
See, like it's been a long time
and
since
it wasn't
we've been
it wasn't that exciting.
Yeah,
like,
since we've been excited about because remember Zach Greinke had a pretty rocky first season here.
Right.
People were not excited about him.
Because that's what happens here typically, right? Like we see guys come in and they takes a little bit of time to find success. That's the reason why, especially with the young guys last year, it was kind of just incredible how even Emmanuel Rivera came back down to earth. But when he first got here after being traded for Luke Weaver, he was
He's in like
insane.
400.
Yeah,
He's
it
in
was
like
crazy.
over 400
We
for a
made
good
our
2-3
account an
weeks.
Emmanuel Rivera Stan account. I mean, that just goes to show you how
El
much. You know,
Popo. Right?
Anyone,
right.
anyone who saw Jake McCarthy at AAA could tell you right off the bat that guy's a major leaguer every day.
Really?
I
Wow.
think I really believe in him, the way that he approaches the game, the way that he takes his at bats, and then the speed and the defense that he brings. I really believe in that guy being able to hit 280 to 300 and
love
steal
that guy.
bases. I
Yeah.
mean, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
He's such a fun player to
Every
watch
winning
too.
team needs a guy like Jake McCarthy.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Period.
He wasn't on my radar all that much because
He wasn't on a lot of people's radar.
I can only commit like 8 to 9 prospects names, for the Diamondbacks and go,
Yeah.
all right, I'm done. Like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
might be good, but I'm only going to remember so many.
Sure.
And when they came to Colorado in September, he had a great series, and all of a sudden, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And he's, he might be dangled out. Rockies needed a left-handed hitting outfielder
Yeah.
that has some ability to play some
Stop
center
it.
field.
Absolutely not.
And of course, the
We
Dalton
have-
Varsho trade
We
went
have
down.
plenty of them.
We got more. We got more in reserve in the closet. Would you care for a Dominic Fletcher, perhaps? One of our Dominics, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, grab yourself the Underdog Fantasy app because nobody wants to play an entire season of fantasy baseball. I've talked about this. I'm not to knock it. I know some of you enjoy it, but let's be honest. Around May or June, you're already done. So instead, play daily fantasy sports with Underdog Fantasy. You can draft your team against 5 of your friends, the highest scoring squad, win some cold hard cash. Of course, as you know, they also have their Pick'ems game that I'm constantly talking about because I won $1,000 playing their Pick'ems game. Not betting, but choosing higher or lower on pitch counts. It's that simple. You can find your stat that you kind of geek out about and zone in on, whatever you want to do. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. And of course, like I said, make sure to download that app and enjoy yourself over at Underdog Fantasy. As Jesse would say, be an overdog over at Underdog Fantasy. It's easy to get started. Go to underdogfantasy.com or download the app. Sign up with promo code PHNX, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100.
Well, that's nice.
Yes, it is nice. And what's wild about it is I got that match, and like that money I won was like my last $20. It was like
clutch.
I'd gone through 200 and hadn't won anything, and I was like, you know what? I'm doing pitch counts tonight, and guess what? Locked it in.
That was your strike 3 with only a second left on the pitch
There it
clock.
is. There it is. Boom.
Punch out.
Got it.
Game.
Got it.
It's a thing. It's coming.
You know who's here? He's not coming. He's here. It's Corbin Carroll, and the praise continues to pour in for him, almost at a level that seems unbelievable to me. Like we knew how special he was. We knew how excited we were. We knew about his kind of bumps in the road and how he handled it, how he made himself a better player by, basically becoming a scout while he was injured. But basically, we've talked for weeks and weeks about all of these top 100 prospects lists and where Corbin Carroll lands on most of them. It seems to be 1 or 2. He was once again named number 1 by Zips as the top prospect in all of baseball. And also MLB.com put out a list of every team's best pure hitting prospect. Corbin Carroll, once again. Vince, is this real? Is he real? Is he a real person?
I think he's the real deal.
Yeah.
Going off the field, his maturity, like you were mentioning before, his scouting of opponents, his focus on the game and the work that he puts in pregame, and the professional nature which he carries himself is impressive at his young age. And that's why I think that this isn't too much for him. This moment is not too much for him. There's going to be adjustments along the way as a young guy getting used to major league pitching and the adjustments that the pitchers are going to have. But I think for him, the future is incredibly bright. He's got a little bit of power. He's got some power, really good at going the opposite way and using that left center field gap too. So he can be looking at a lot of triples with that speed. But I think he's 100% the real deal. He came to Reno and was just an absolute star. Again, when you watch some of these guys stick out on the field as clearly major leaguers when you see them play. Other guys, you're like, I don't know, maybe he can make that adjustment or not. Corbin Carroll by far was one of the most impressive players I've seen in my time in Reno.
It just feels, and I mean, again, I think the reason why is because of his age and because I have an anxiety disorder. I couldn't imagine having this level of pressure on you as a prospect, right? Like, so that's the part. And I know a lot of times these guys in any sport, when they're this highly thought of, they live up to the expectations because people are saying this stuff based on what they're seeing from this kid, right? We've talked about how deliberate he is with his responses, like, and sometimes it's almost in a crazy, insane way where he was like, "Do you mind if I take a moment to think about that?" And we're like, "Sure." And then he goes, and he just sits there for like 30 seconds, and then all of a sudden has an answer.
Really?
And like,
That's a thing?
That's a thing. That's what he did that a couple of times last season when he first got up to the big leagues. I think he was just kind of overwhelmed in the moment. he also wanted to be careful about what he said and how he worded his answers, but he had no problem. And I've never seen in my history of covering this team anybody ever say, can you guys give me a second while I think about that? And not like, let's come back to this. No, we're stopping everything right now, and I'm just going to think about this for a second, and then I'm going to go ahead and give you an answer. Like it was kind of a, I don't know, like again, the maturity level. Like it's something that, you know, somebody who is insanely mature has the ability to go, hold on, my mind is racing right now, and I can't just like blurt out something. I really need to think this through.
And confident, I think, too.
Yeah,
because
confidence.
You're
Yeah,
saying,
absolutely.
well, he's not just saying what's off the top of his head, so that shows maybe a lack of confidence. But no, it's like, hey, look, this is, I know how this looks. Like he has to know how it looks.
Yeah.
But it's the better of the two options,
Sure,
right?
sure,
And so
absolutely.
he's looking at it that way to say, you know what? Again, my words are going to live on a lot longer than this moment, and I'm not awkward. I'm not uncomfortable with it. So let's go ahead and shut it down. Let me think about it rather than just kind of say some cliche and then come back.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is, you know, players can meander and go all over the place, and you got to do the heavy lifting of, all right, let me just take out the piece that they actually were kind of in the moment.
Yeah.
In the middle of all this baseball speak, and then it could be taken out of context at that point. But it sounds like that's not going to be happening to Corbin Carroll.
Yeah, and to take a fast paced, you know, moving words to take a moment and be able to slow it down.
Yeah.
Right. That is so important. I don't like how many prospects have we seen that get called up and they're like get caught up in the fast pace of Major League Baseball, just all of it. Right.
Sure.
He's showing an ability to pause, take a breath, collect himself, and then go. Right.
And not give
it's-
cliche answers, which is
it's
probably
so
what is
easy.
going to come out. when you
It's
just
so
think
easy to say,
that.
like, I'm just happy to help the team. And we'll go get him tomorrow. Right.
Yeah.
Like, so like how you hear that all the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
We even joke with Tori about it. And Tori's Toryisms and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Tori just kind of regurgitates at times the same like filler statements in regards to like losses or whatever, you know? And like, yeah, well, I mean, that's not the part that's going to make, you know, the article anyway. So like you let's say like, yeah, everybody tried hard, you know, we're going to go get back at it tomorrow, you know, that kind of stuff. Right.
And
Like,
it's funny
we're going to flush this one. And, you know, there's always certain things that he always likes to say, you know?
and it's funny, such maturity out of a guy who looks about 12.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Corbin Carroll,
He
definitely.
reminds me that I am getting older every single time.
Man, let me tell you though, I took a video of him and I sat there after I watched the interview and I was like, Carroll's jacked. Like compared to where he was at last year, like
Yeah.
he is getting physically bigger. And like just to think about that going along with his speed and all of his other abilities, like for him to get in incredibly good shape, to improve his strength, you know, that's one thing that we've questioned is how is his power going to be? Zips loves his power.
Yeah,
Zips
well, remember when the
projected him to
D-backs
have a
drafted him? They
power
were
year.
they're like, he'll play the field, but we don't know about his hitting. Like,
Right.
he might not hit the major league level. And now here he is, organization's best pure hitter, power numbers through the roof. Like,
His swing's so good.
He's got
His
great
swing-
back control, just
Yeah.
incredible
Yeah.
back control. And like you were saying, his maturity, he's a natural leader in that he can kind of get away with some of those more generic responses, but
Sure.
it comes off as like an Aaron Judge, like genuine nature of it, where you're not just brushing it off as a platitude, but you're actually taking it in as, oh, he actually means this, and he's going to lead a clubhouse when he gets a little bit older, I think.
Was he like that in Reno where he would pause and just kind of
Always.
Click it?
Yeah, he's always been really thoughtful in his responses. He's a quiet guy. You know,
Yeah.
he really does keep to himself. Like I said, more of that natural leader that people follow what they're doing, not exactly, you know, what his words are.
And another part of that confidence too was in spring so far, he's been declining to answer certain things, right? Just didn't talk about the possible contract extension, declined talking about like what he was particularly working on. You know, like someone asked him like, what are those things that you're working on? And he's like, I just want to keep that to myself, right? So it's like, there are things about that. And as crazy as it sounds, like, let me tell you, Madison Bumgarner is the one guy in the locker room that will remind you that I don't want to tell you guys what I'm going to do because guess what? The other
Right.
teams are watching this too. And like, sometimes he'll just tell us that. He's like, I would tell you, but like, then this is me giving away my game plan. And sometimes that's what we're asking him. Like, what's your game plan for attacking this team? And he'll be like, the fuck should I tell you for what? How do you plan on photographing Corbin Carroll? Like, is it just going to all be
Are you gonna be
blurry?
able to catch it?
as
yeah.
best I can.
Like Sasquatch
Man.
photos?
Yeah, right.
I've been feeling every photograph that you take of him, Danielle, his mouth will be closed because he's in that thought process. Period. So it's just, he's like, wow, he's always just.
His mouth is closed, but the rest of his body is just a little blurry.
He says
a
a
little
lot
streak to
a
it.
lot of words that's with have the M sound because his lips are together.
Right.
You know, Jesse and I were talking about this, and he said, you know what? He's understanding of what Corbin's trying to do, but he said he is going to get a gigantic clock on his phone so that when Corbin says, "Let me think about that," he's gonna have the 8 seconds
Yeah.
up there. So
Yeah, yeah.
Jesse,
You got
I
8
think that's a
seconds.
good idea.
That's a good
You
one.
might want to talk with the
That's a good one.
Diamondback staff,
Yeah.
but he's gonna say
I don't know
8
if they'll
seconds,
like it so
Corbin.
much.
Think about it, and then you got to answer. Are
You know,
are you okay with your guy doing that?
I'm okay with that. I mean, honestly, I want to see it. But no matter how fast we hear Corbin Carroll is, we still know that Dre Jameson beat him in a foot race, not once but twice, allegedly.
Really?
I don't. Listen, that
They
story,
have both confirmed this.
See, I don't know if I buy it though.
Dre Jameson.
Like,
Why would Corbin Carroll confirm this? I mean, Dre Jameson was like, "Yeah, oh yeah, that happened."
I don't know, man. I don't know if I buy it. I'm a skeptic for this.
I don't know.
Was
I
this a
don't know.
freeze style race? Maybe
Oh, it was a
Dre,
foot race. It was
Dre
a foot
had
race.
the head start. It could have
Maybe,
been like that, like
maybe.
the freeze in Atlanta.
I don't know, but have you seen how low Corbin Carroll gets to the ground in those pictures? Like, I don't even understand his body control when it comes to him being like. Obviously, he's fast. He's almost like parallel to the ground when he's running. It's
He's
the
like Sonic
wildest
the
thing.
Hedgehog. Is what
Yeah,
you're saying.
exactly.
It's
yeah.
very Sonic Hedgehogian.
Yeah, the feet roll in a circle just like
That
Sonic.
works.
Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world. Well, buckle in, guys, because it's ad read time, and today is a very special day on this podcast. I am so glad to be joined by some wrestling fans. We're going to get to that, but I hope everybody has a Four Peaks beer and is ready for this one, because Four Peaks Brewing Company helps you enjoy everything more. And of course, when it comes to crazy ad reads, that's where you need it the most. Four Peaks has a wonderful variety of beers. They also have all sorts of fun events going on at their 8th Street pub. So make sure to check them out. You can check out their calendar at fourpeaks.com/events for all your beer week entertainment. And if speed and adrenaline is your speed, the Beer Can Derby is on February 25th at Four Peaks 8th Street Pub in Tempe. Kit pickups are open now, so if you want to show us you got the fastest beer can in the valley, sign up through fourpeaks.com/events. Must be 21 years or older to enjoy, and enjoy responsibly. We need representation for PHNX. And remember, we're cheating, so we need to talk about how we can cheat and make your car win. And of course, let us know if you want to go compete in that and represent us.
That's fun.
Yeah. But you know what's really fun?
Peaks.
Peaks are fun.
Peaking.
Peaking is fun. But today on this show is the first time that I get to read a Roman ad read. And as you guys know, Petey from the PHNX Coyotes podcast is the king of Roman ad reads. And while Petey goes in a route that kind of goes for a wider audience, I do the opposite, as you know. I play to a very small audience, a niche audience, if you will. I'm not happy until I'm just making one person that's watching the show laugh and everybody else very confused. So, of course, today I am going to deliver this ad read to my friends who are pro wrestling fans.
Yes. So, Derek, what you're saying is you have a small base.
I have a small base,
Okay.
right? But you don't want to always have a small base, and you don't need to always have a small base. Sometimes you can grow that base into a gigantic audience, if you will, like millions and millions of fans all around the world. And of course, hello and welcome to the first Roman ad read from the PHNX D-backs podcast. Do you want a better sex life? If so, you're not alone. Roman is here to help. Roman is the digital health clinic for men, addressing a variety of sexual health needs and offering genuine medication that helps achieve and maintain a strong erection.
I don't like you pointing at me this much.
I'm just saying.
But you're doing a great job.
I'm gonna make eye contact with one of you this whole time, so just know that.
Lock in. Let's go.
Guys, WrestleMania may come once a year, but that doesn't mean you have to. Are you not getting noticed? Are you being overshadowed by the performances of your more talented friends, perhaps? Ooh. Well, it's time to put yourself over and make you look strong with Roman. If you want your partner to acknowledge you as the head of the table, Roman offers discreet wipes that help you last 4 times longer. Don't let some honorary oos steal the spotlight from you. If you experience low T, getting testosterone levels back to normal will remind everyone that you are the big dog and that this is your yard. There are no waiting rooms or hassle to help you move your needle. Roman brings a wise man to you directly with a straightforward digital experience from the comfort of your home. Take your partner on a trip to the island of relevancy once again and show them that you are the tribal chief and the undisputed heavyweight champion of your bedroom with Roman.
There we go.
Experience the greatness on a different level. with Roman. To learn more about how you can achieve your personal sexual health goals, go to ro.co/PHNX to get 20% off your entire order. That's ro.co/PHNX.
Hey, man, that was really good.
That was a rock solid read.
That's
You guys are
it.
the best.
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed we didn't get like a Morgan Freeman or a Mr. Mackey in there.
Yeah.
Book yourself.
That one.
Book yourself to a victory with Roman.
That one was Mark. That one was for Mark. Mark, that one was for you, my friend.
Speaking of Marks, if you understood what he was saying, you're gonna like that one. You're gonna like that one.
You're gonna love that one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys, I guess before we go, I wanted to ask your final thoughts on this season. Just your assessment of the Diamondbacks. I know you guys all kind of have your own thoughts. I know, as you know, someone that covers NL West rival, did you guys feel they got scarier this offseason with the moves they made?
I did like the moves. Obviously, they were a little bit more laid back than, you know, they're not necessarily going after it this year. Doesn't mean they can't get it.
Right.
Andrew Chafin is,
but you can get
nice.
it with Roman. Sorry,
Yeah.
I had to get that in there.
Speaking of Chafin, Andrew is doing a nice job. I mean, I think he's if you want it from the left side, he's going to give it to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're not getting this back on track.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's great.
And now, because you need to pitch to 3 batters, there's no such thing as a loogie.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
There's no loogies when it comes to Chafin. I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
No, it's fine.
The
I like
Diamondbacks are going to be very interesting. They're going to be exciting.
Yeah.
You know, and even if they're only around, let's say 500, you go, yeah, but all of these guys are coming back next season. They're only going to be better. They're only going to improve. They're only going to, hopefully, with increased attendance, you know, be able to spend a little bit more money in free agency and make some moves. Like this is really positive. They are trending upwards. And you know what? And even if they somehow take a step back and let's say they have the exact same record as last year, they're still, their window of contention is still essentially opening up officially in 2024. Yeah. So. Now's a good time to really get in and buy some stock on the Diamondbacks right now. They're exciting.
Vince?
Yeah, it's all about development this year for them.
Yeah.
Can they continue to develop? Can they continue to bring guys up from the minor leagues that are impact players and figuring out who slots into where, who's a part of this future? And like you guys were saying, there's a lot of depth in the minor leagues, especially at the outfield position. Yeah. So there's trade opportunities. Either way, if it's the season's a little bit under 500, there's still going to be players that fans are going to want to see, want to go to the ballpark every day, want to watch the game about. And they have pieces that, one, they could trade off midseason and get something back for and really gear up to make a run at it next year. Or they have some pieces and some depth where they can gear up to make a run at it this year. Yeah. So I think that's what's so exciting about this season is the player development piece of it. And then either way, it's going to be interesting to find out which way they're going because they're really going to be set up for success in the next 2 to 5 years.
And Kendrick's comments were interesting. Like we know how Ken Kendrick is. We know that he has a reputation for not really spending, even though there are many instances that actually go the opposite way. It's not that they didn't spend; they just didn't spend the money. I guess you could say wisely, right? But he brought up the fact that if they do have that run, if they do look like they're getting close, and that run in October is possible, that they're willing to invest more money in this team, and I think they're also willing to possibly start exploring those trade options for young players if they're buying in. You know, like right now. Trades are kind of a commodity. The one thing that was talked about this offseason was that a lot of teams didn't want to trade players. They wanted the free agency pickup, but they didn't want to give up parts of their organization, which is interesting because that's always been a big part of baseball, right? When you're contending, you start trading off those prospects to get those pieces to get you to that next level. But they don't really want to do that. Well, yeah, Padres are just spending and trading and doing whatever. Like they're picking up everybody, But what are your thoughts on the offseason, Dave?
You know what I'm excited about?
What's that?
October baseball, baby.
Oh,
I'm going to say it.
Oh my God.
I said this last time I was on here. D-backs are making the playoffs. Dead in the camera. D-backs are making the playoffs this year.
Look at that.
Oh, we're playing that clip if it doesn't happen, but I love the belief. I love the belief.
Someone's got a little bit too much four peaks today already. I
feel it, right?
not
They're such a
crazy.
fun team.
Well, and Jesse's not here to bring us all down, so we can all just get excited. It's fine.
So the thing about the D-backs is last year, we remember May and June where they had that really bad run, right? Like they were playing pretty well. We were getting a little excited about it.
Yeah.
And then they kind of fell off the rails like they did.
Yeah. What was that? Like August? There was a time where we were like, oh my God, they're like 8 games back in the division.
Well,
what is happening?
It was later, because remember we're always like, okay, well here's the May, always every single year the May breakdown, right? Then it didn't come, and then it came a little later.
Yeah.
But now you know, they only missed the playoffs by like what 8 games and blew. How many saves did they? I don't have the numbers.
40.
It was over 40. The
bullpen had over
blew
40
over
losses.
and only missed the postseason by 8 games.
Yeah.
So if you convert a third of those, a quarter of those,
I try to say that. And
you're
then
in the
Jesse
play. This is
tells
a
me
playoff team
I'm
as
an
it
idiot.
is, as it like even as it was last season.
Yeah.
So the bullpen got better. You know, they didn't make any big splashy moves in the offseason, but you know what? They didn't have to.
Yeah.
Like you said, their team is only getting they're only getting younger or only getting better, only getting more experience,
Yeah.
right? So
The big discussion point now is phasing out the older players so
Yeah.
that the younger guys aren't blocked, right? And that
Exactly.
that comes as part of that discussion of bringing back Zach Davies and having Madison Bumgarner here. And again, it is absolutely no knock to them. It's just an idea that this team's core is all around the same age, and it's all young guys that are starting to make that splash in Major League Baseball. And the last thing we want to see right now is them blocked in any way, not being, But the thing about it is playing in Reno seems like boot camp. You know what I mean? Like, it's so difficult for pitchers and such to play there. And,
it's always fun having to explain to like my friends that don't understand it the numbers coming out of Reno.
Oh yeah.
It's like, why are they calling him up? He only has like a 5 ERA. It's like, okay, listen.
Well,
It's like we're playing half at home, and then we're in Vegas.
Yeah. And there's also
Then we go to Albuquerque.
Amarillo is the double A team, right?
Like, listen,
the most offensive.
let's pump the brakes here. Like, it's not that bad. No, like,
But then you also have D-backs players hitting 500-foot home runs because of the.
That's the fun part.
Yeah, you get a 5 ERA in Reno. He's pretty damn
He's
good.
pretty good.
right?
Right? That's how you know.
His slugging percentage is 650, so he's slumping.
We only scored 6
Wow,
runs tonight,
that's
fellas.
it.
Like, we really
That's it.
struggled out
Man,
there.
it was a tight game.
high school numbers down there, right? Like,
But anybody could have won. It was 6-2.
yeah, the D-backs' biggest problem is that they're young. And
Yeah.
how do you solve that? You give them time, and they've had time. So, I am so excited for this team.
Well, and I think something we've mentioned quite a bit on the show that's an underrated, idea here is that they have one of the baseball's, biggest legends when it comes to a pitching coach, and Brent Strom, working with these guys when they come up. Brent Strom the other day mentioned to a friend of ours, Jack Magruder, as he casually walked past, do you think anybody's going to steal 80 bases this year? Because of the pitch clock, because of all the on-base rules. I mean, it sounds crazy, but hey,
if
who
anybody's
knows?
gonna do it, if somebody does it,
It's
they're
gonna
playing
be
for
on
the
the
D-backs.
D-backs. Yeah.
They're playing on the
That's right.
This team is built for that new game.
Yeah.
They really are, and they're
They
a
really
dangerous playoff team.
Yeah.
If everything falls in with Zac Gallen, and if you can get something out of Bumgarner, and with the young arms that they have, the contact and the speed that you have in the playoffs could really go a long way for the Diamondbacks. So I don't think anyone would want to see them if they end up there.
Yeah, and organizational depth too, right?
Yeah.
What was the issue in 2020? What was the issue in 2021, 2022?
All three
everybody
this past season.
just got hurt.
Yeah.
Well,
and they just
in
didn't-
2021 there were 8 starting pitchers on the IL at one point.
Don't
There are
even
5
get me-
spots.
But here's
in
the thing.
rotation.
Wow.
Like,
Part of that was the organization's fault, right?
Yeah.
When we were looking at the depth chart, I was on another show, and we used to make jokes about the fact that you had the same guy backing up people at like 3 bases, and it's like, what if all of them get hurt?
And then they did.
Who's going to play those 3
And
positions?
then they did.
Tim LaCastro can't play every position, you guys. That kind of thing.
But now that ain't a problem anymore, right? It's
between the minor leagues and what they have. I think they're really well rounded. As a matter of fact, we kind of ask where some of these guys are going to get playing time at. Pavin Smith, is
We
one of
haven't
those
even talked about
candidates.
Alec Thomas, who's a really
Yeah.
promising young guy.
Our young
as well.
king.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you look at this team, and they're so well rounded at every single position.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
When was the last time where the D-backs have had exciting prospects? There have been before, but they came up and performed immediately. I can't remember a single time where that's happened. Maybe Paul Goldschmidt back in 2011.
Sure.
But
Sure.
other than that, like, it hasn't happened. And then now we're seeing it. This is a really exciting time for
It's
the Diamondbacks.
exciting. It's exciting. Well, if you guys haven't done so already, you can get all sorts of excitement from the DraftKings Sportsbook app. There are NBA no sweat same game parlays, so of course make sure to opt in for those. But if you do get yourself a same game parlay and it doesn't hit, you can get your money back in a free bet. So of course, I'm still mad about purple Gatorade, and I'm still not dropping that subject, but that's for
What was the actual color?
it
for the
was
Super
purple
Bowl?
Gatorade, and
It
nobody
was?
fucking drinks purple Gatorade, and I want an investigation at like an elite level in the NFL going into who made the color, purple. I want it tested to see if the actual flavor was grape, or Arctic fucking mountain, whatever the other purple one is.
Arctic Rockies.
Arctic.
I don't know. What would it even be? Well, Gatorade does choose the color, so they are real. There's a real swerve.
So there's a story there. I'm telling you, it was a plus 1600 long shot. So I want an answer. But anyway, go ahead and download the app now. Don't bet on Gatorade because, whatever. But bet on Corbin Carroll. That's for somebody you can bet on. You can bet on all sorts of stuff over at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the app now and sign up with code PHNX. New customers can bet $5 on the NBA and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Only at the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA with code PHNX. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. And of course, shout out to our friends at Game Time because it is the best place to buy tickets. And of course, it's best to buy your tickets last minute. Procrastinate, wait, make sure you know what's going on. I've had one of the busiest weeks of my life, and I still have tickets to Penn and Teller tonight. And I have the Innings Fest tomorrow, which I'm very excited about.
Hey, you're going too?
I am going to the Innings Fest. Yes, I can't wait.
Man, I can't wait. Green Day and Weezer, are you kidding me?
Yes.
Man.
It's my,
what a lineup.
It's my teenage.
Weezer.
It's Offspring, Weezer, and Green Day.
I'm going to be a wreck.
Black Crowes are also there.
I get to see all of them at
yes.
the When We Were Young festival in Vegas in
Yeah.
October.
Oh, yeah.
I got tickets to that one
I heard
about a week or so ago.
That thing didn't even look real. That like lineup
The
card,
lineup is unfair. It's our second straight
crazy.
year going to me and my wife.
The
so
one they
really
actually
excited.
had.
Yeah,
not
so
the one
Yeah,
that
not
they
the one
didn't
that was
have.
canceled. We had the next weekend. I was like, perfect.
My brother had tickets to the one they didn't have.
Oh, no. See,
Yeah.
and if he would have bought his tickets on Game Time, he could have waited to the last minute and saved some money. So make sure concerts, sporting events, all of that stuff. You can get that all on GameTime.co. Save up to 60% on tickets when you buy tickets last minute. And the best way is to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in the description. Well, I don't want to wrap this up because this has been too much fun, but I thank all of you guys so much for being here. This has been incredible. And of course, before I let you go, I need everybody to give me your Twitter handles. I know Patrick is Patrick D. Lyons.
That's me at Patrick D.
Vince?
Lyons.
I'm V_Ruffino MKTG.
There was no way I was going to remember that.
I can't believe I didn't.
Marketing.
Marketing, exactly.
Abracadaniel?
Abracadaniel.
Yeah, Abracadaniel.
I know one person who has gotten that reference. And it's actually Espo's sister.
Hey.
Espo's sister is the one who got my Adventure Time deep cut
There you go.
Twitter handle.
I love it.
Adventure Time?
Adventure Time.
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's got to be.
He's in like 3 episodes.
It's got to be Teen Titans Go for me to get it, or Craig the Creek. That's the best I can do.
Don't hate on Finn and Jake.
No, I know. I love Finn and Jake, of course. But we thank you guys so much for being here. We thank you guys for being here. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Cap_Caveman with a K. The show is at PHNX D-backs. But of course, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Big thanks to this crew. Jesse will be back, I guess, on Monday. So if you're into that kind of thing. But in the meantime, we thank you again so much on behalf of Damon behind the computer over there, who's paid off by Zac Gallen, Danielle, Vince, and this guy, Patrick, over here, and myself. We thank you so much for your time. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you watch it with your friends.